Welcome to this presentation. Everything I say here are my personal opinions, based on many factors I came across during my life. None of this is any scientific fact or supported by any evidence. I have never read any books about the Mayan calendar or 2012 end of the world phenomenon, but over the years had formed my own opinion why the Mayan calendar was necessary. I am not going to explain to you what the calendar shows or what each part of it means, but I will tell you what it was for and what happens after its cycle is over. I am not a scientist of any kind and everything I say here is my own theory in my own words. In recent years I did watch a few documentaries about the Mayan calendar, but did not learn much from them and decided to develop my own theory. Traditional science says that the Mayans believe that the universe is destroyed and then recreated at the start of each universal cycle. This belief caused the 2012 phenomenon. And many went on saying that the world is going to end after 2012. After thinking about it for several hours I believe that it is not the world that is going to end, but the structure of beliefs for our civilization. I believe that Mayan calendar was created by the alien mind that existed on Earth in a very much human form. Information about how to create the calendar was inside the minds of those alien beings, who existed in a human form to teach us about how to run this civilization. Their existence was necessary for civilization to start, give us basic knowledge to keep it going and disperse humans over the territory in all directions. I believe that the calendar was used to teach people who had to become leaders. Calendar was created by those alien beings who were like gods. Without secret knowledge the calendar is useless to any ordinary human. I believe that the calendar shows how the minds of people will progress in the future. And based on that the leaders had to operate their communities or tribes. I believe Mayan civilization was abandoned to hide history and evil spirits and ghosts were used by the gods to chase everyone away and make the Mayan pyramids and other structures a haunted territory, to make sure nobody else questions gods for more knowledge at that time. Pyramids were real-life visuals to teach leaders how to structure human society. The end of the calendar simply means that here it is. Humanity knows everything. The circle of learning is complete. Therefore the Mayan calendar is a calendar of a learning cycle of our human civilization. And it is not the end of the world, but an end of the learning cycle. Obviously there is always a next level or stage in learning anything. This is my own opinion and it is not supported by any scientific interpretation. I believe that in order for the calendar to continue it can only be flipped. The concept of the coin existed during the time when Mayan calendar was the main object to study for humans of that era. This means that the calendar has the other side, and that side becomes active after 2012. What does it mean? In my opinion, it means that everything in the world continues but gives power to the other side. It is not the end of the world, but it activates variables that were not essential during the first cycle. I am not a mathematician or any professor, but if you are one, please prove that in mathematical terms and other calculations you are capable of creating. So, what happens when the Mayan calendar disk is flipped? Let's assume that there is a pattern or image for the other side of the disk. Let's say it is just represented by a laser disk such as a Blu-ray disk with enormous data for the next cycle of human civilization. It is only my opinion and you are free to believe anything you want to believe. Let's see. So the Mayan calendar has been flipped and now our civilization is running through the same stages, but it engages the opposite side of each stage. I do not have better words to explain this, but let me tell you some exact examples. It is essentially a new calendar that exposes things that could not have been exposed before. The new side of the calendar has the intention to improve on all the past events. I believe that since 2012 everything is switching places and changing the order, what has been at the bottom is going up and what has been on top is going down. Everything that was ignored becomes a hot topic. Everything that is important is replaced with something better that did not exist before. Everything that was invisible becomes visible. Everything that was a mystery becomes obvious. Everything that was discovered and worked begins to work better. Things that have been resolved are replaced with new challenges. This new cycle for our civilization increases the ability of the human mind to process more, because the basic composition of the human mind was completed during the first cycle. I believe that this cycle does run faster than the previous one, because most of our civilization is done and built. I believe we are going to see astonishing miracles of the human soul in our lifetime in the next couple centuries and it will improve on every part of the previous cycle. Perhaps, alien gods and we can see that the new calendar image is unnecessary because we possess a ton of information and data, and only the wise leader can decode steps for each new decade of our civilization. Pain and pleasure was always guiding people from the beginning of the era and until 2012. But now instead of pain there is information that can disturb. And instead of basic pleasures we have luxuries and entertainment. In the previous cycle, if you wanted power during human history, You needed to learn to use pain and pleasure to control people and slaves. But after 2012, only having the information and providing luxuries can control any type of people with ease. Each segment of the Mayan calendar is a recording about how our civilization should go, based on how the human mind will change and adapt. I believe that long ago, alien gods could not let people see the next cycle we have and did learn to predict. If the concept of modern life would have been explained to them, it would create fear and worry. Early leaders had to guide people through steps that we now have in our recorded history. They had to follow the order of events to develop modern society. The new Mayan cycle began officially rewriting human civilization over what is already in existence. Let me give you the best example of what does change in the new Mayan cycle. The calendar disc is flipped, and that obviously applies to human relationships. So, before 2012, men were in control and had a leading role in a relationship due to circumstances and necessary structure of the society. However, after 2012, women began to gain visible leadership in a romantic relationship. They do say now that future is female. And it is true. For centuries before 2012, the world was a difficult place for women, and men had to make decisions to create and build this easy-to-navigate civilization of the present day. After 2012, women will gain more leadership and control to improve on the previous Mayan cycle. It is not bad and not good, but simply a natural cycle of life. Men created rough civilization under rough conditions. But modern women begin to follow their missions to smooth all the rough edges in our civilization to create nicer and better environments. It is not an instantaneous process and will take a couple centuries. Same concept applies to the romantic bond between women and men. In this modern cycle, women are now obligated to provide all they can for a man they have power to choose and care about. The Mayan calendar is flipped, and that applies to everything including relationships. Women are learning to make important decisions about life and family, because modern conditions finally allow this to happen. And men are learning to make gentle decisions about life and understand feelings and emotions, because in the past cycle, life on Earth demanded men to be cold and rough. It is not good or bad, but a necessary improvement to our civilization, and women will be held accountable about each level of power they will be given rights to. I believe that men are gaining wise assignments to guide women into leadership. You may see this as some fight for equality, but it was not possible a few centuries ago due to rough conditions. At some point during this modern and new Mayan cycle, men and women will achieve perfect balance of power and skills. Technology is also flipped just like the calendar. Before, humans controlled technology, but now technology controls humans. And soon we will see robots, who will replace humans to do most of the labor, and women will be approaching men for guidance to continue their duties to build a better world. Similar change will be with the money. It is my personal belief, and I cannot tell you the exact date when it will happen, but the concept of money is also flipped. During the first Mayan cycle, people were fighting and working for money and resources, but after 2012 the goal of humanity is to have money and resources to fight for humans, to deliver money and resources where it is necessary and at the right moment. Before 2012, humans wanted money to get things, but after 2012, money wants humans and things beg for humans and money. How funny, right? Now money wants you to have it and distribute it to sponsor everything for the new plan for our civilization. Before 2012, the concept of medicine was going through stages to save and help humans, but after 2012, humans have to adapt to the concept of medicine and control it because it started to control us. Can you see all of what I am trying to describe? The modern side of the Mayan calendar, that started after 2012, is working on the opposite side of everything on Earth, to complete the two-step process of the well-developed civilization. Everything that had ever been created has at least two basic sides. A house has exterior and interior. Humans have male and female. Computers have hardware and software. I think it is easy enough to understand. And I would love to thank you for listening, and see if you can make notes about how your own life will be manifesting the opposite side of your spirit, family, skills, interests, romantic tactics, personality traits, and anything else that can be affected during your lifetime. Have fun during our century.